MDF Terrain 40k from the XLC. Time to review their brand new pre-painted terrain. Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, today I'm going to review the brand new Desecrated City Gothic terrain by the XLC. So I was contacted by Jody from the XLC, and he very kindly sent me some pieces of terrain to review on the channel. This is for their new Kickstarter, which is shortly going to end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unbox, I'm going to build, I'm going to review, and finally I'm going to show you the pieces of terrain on my board all set up. But first of all, I want to talk about the Kickstarter. Now, the Kickstarter is complete. In actual fact, there's around 4 days left of the Kickstarter before it ends. Now, in the Kickstarter, there's several different bundles at different price points. There's a couple of bundles around £35, a couple of bundles around £50, and then some really big bundles as well. They've got some fantastic stretch goals, of which some of them have already been unlocked. So what I'm going to do is link you up in the description below to the XLC Kickstarter video. From there you can find the link to the Kickstarter. Definitely check it out. Now, don't forget to subscribe to the XLC whilst you're there. They've had some Kickstarters before, and I'm sure they will do in the future. They have some fantastic products, and that's what I want to do in this video, is review these brand new 3mm MDF, which is pre-painted. I cannot wait to have a look at this. I've had other MDF products before, but nothing that's pre-painted. Now, before we go table down, if you would like to keep up to date with the wonders of Warhammer 40k, then please give me a sub and hit the bell button so you don't miss an upload. Right, let's go table down and have a look at this terrain. Okay, so this is the box that I got from the XLC. Now, apparently I've got 2 hex, 2 gates and 2 sets of bridges. So let's get this open and have a look. I am very excited to see this. I've seen a lot of videos and great reviews on this product, so I'm very interested to see it for myself. Okay, so first of all we've got the XLC compliment slip there. Have fun building these, Jody. Thank you, Jody, I'm sure I will. Right, let's have a look. Very well packaged. Wow, there is a lot of stuff here. So, this must be the hex section. Wow, this looks absolutely awesome. Okay, we'll take a close look in a minute. Let's get it out of the box. Actually, it looks like I've got 2 boxes stuck together. So, 2 hex towers, they're called. Right, let's get the other half opened. Okay, so yeah, there was 2 boxes stuck together, and in this one we have more MDF. Look at this. Okay, so this is a door. Looks like I've got 2 doors. Pretty cool. And the bridges. How about that? They look awesome. Okay, so let's take one of these out of the packets and have a look. Okay, so the plan for the video is I'm going to have a closer look at this hex tower here, and then I'm going to build all of this stuff, and then I'm going to review everything after it's built. So let's have a look at this. Now, I've chosen to look at this one on the camera because I want to show you something which I think is really, really cool, a fantastic design for this particular piece. So let's get it open and have a look. Okay, we have a lot of MDF. Now, the first thing I want to have a look at is the actual printed material. Now, this does look very, very realistic. I've had some MDF pieces of terrain previously, and what tends to happen, although it looks really cool when it's built, if you have one of these really big flat sections, you paint it up, it doesn't necessarily look that great. Having this on there, not only obviously is it convenient so that you don't have to paint it, but it just looks awesome and makes these massive big flat areas just look as if they've got a lot of detail. Now, the thing that I wanted to show you on this particular kit, and one reason why I opened it, is this is the roof of this particular tower. As you can see, you've got a blank one, it's really cool. You've got a medical tower, you've got a helicopter pad, and again you've got a blank one there. So very, very cool. I think for my particular board I'm probably just going to have a blank one. I'll have a think about it. I think it will match my board a little bit better. But yeah, really liking this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to build these and then I'm going to come back with them all built and do a full review. Okay, so I have all of my pieces built, bearing in mind I've got 2 of each. So I've got some experience now with these particular products, so let's have a quick chat about them. Now the first thing which I thought was really great about these is the fact that you don't have to push them out of an MDF sprue. The pieces are already pushed out. That makes life a lot easier. Now in terms of the pre-painted stuff, it seems like it's a vinyl of some description stuck on. It looks absolutely fantastic. I had one little air bubble on one of the pieces, but all I did was simply push it down and the air bubble went away. So everything seems to be of good quality. Now in terms of building, there was no instructions in the set. However, if you go to the XLC YouTube page, they have instructional videos. I followed that video and it took me around 20 minutes to build this piece. However, when I made the second one, that only took me 10 minutes. It is a case of once you know how to do one, it becomes a lot easier. However, you will need that instructional video. It could be quite difficult to work out where all the pieces go if you didn't have that video. However, with that video, I found it was very simple to glue this together. Of course, just glued with PVA glue. Now one of my concerns was that the glue was going to ruin the print, however it didn't. I had no issues with that at all. Now this is the door. This is a very cool piece of terrain because the door does actually come in and out, and it's got a little locking system that stops it coming out all of the way, and that looks pretty awesome. 2 of these together looks fantastic on the table. We are going to take a look at all of the pieces all together on my table at the end of the video, but for now let's have a look at the next piece. Okay, so next are the bridges. Now these bridges took me literally 5 minutes to build, all 4 of them. It's literally a case of just sticking on the sides. The great thing about the bridges is that there's 2 different patterns. So you have one here that's got blood spatter on and one which hasn't. In actual fact, most of the terrain had different patterns available, so as you built more and more, you could mix and change things up, which was nice to see. But these are quite a simple design. They basically have this little edge here, so you can hook it onto some of the extra pieces of terrain. Okay, so that is the bridge. So now let's have a look at the hex. Okay, so the hex, this piece of terrain here. Now this is quite a big one. Now the instructional video is very simple to follow. I had to use it though to build this. Again, I don't think you could build it without it. The bridges that we looked at didn't have an instructional video, but you really don't need one for that. It's so simple to build. However, this one is a little bit more complicated. Now it took me 45 minutes to build, so I made both of them in an hour and a half, which I thought was pretty reasonable, especially if you consider you don't have to paint them once you've built them. Now I built mine exactly how the video was done. So I've got the little door here, and on the opposite side I have a little balcony. These are all interchangeable, so you can have them however you like. You could have the door here right next to this if you want to. Now on the top there's 4 different designs, as I said earlier. I went for the plain ones. I went for 2 different plain ones. Now I did build the gun emplacement section which goes on top. I didn't glue it onto the building, but it looks pretty cool. I think it adds a little bit more detail to it. And of course you do have the option for either the helipad or the medical centre. I wasn't a fan of those designs myself, but the great thing is of course you've got options, and indeed if you're building a whole board of these, it might be quite useful to have all 4 different pieces on the top. Now I do have a little tip for you regarding this. If you've been a bit heavy-handed with the build, maybe you've got a little nick out of the actual print and then you've got the MDF showing underneath. All you have to do is get some brown paint. I used Rhinox hide from Games Workshop. I just painted it over the little piece of wood, wiped off the paint with my finger off of the print, and it was absolutely perfect finish. So really good. Really liking it. I think they look awesome. However, as yet I haven't put them all together, and that's what I'm going to do next. Okay, so here we are all set up, and I have to say, wow, this stuff is amazing. I've just had a lot of fun just putting it in all different poses. I decided this one was my favourite, running across the centre of the board. How cool does that look? I even have one bridge left over. I've put my Citadel buildings on the table as well, just to give you a feel of how this is going to look. You can tell that it matches in with the Citadel buildings pretty well. I think they look really, really cool. Put a couple of models there for scale. So we've got a Space Wolf there just hanging around one of those doors, just to give you an idea. I've put one on the bridge just there, and one guy on the balcony. That's a 32mm base he's standing on, so it sits in there perfectly. I've placed the Citadel lights just on the top of the building there, and again you can see it just matches in really, really well. It looks super cool. And of course I've only got a small selection of what is available on the Kickstarter. Imagine a whole board filled with this stuff here. It's going to look absolutely fantastic. But if you do go for one of the smaller Kickstarters, also it matches in with standard urban type terrain. So really, really cool. So check the link out below, head on over to the Kickstarter video, find more out about it, have a look at the Kickstarter. Like I said, only a few days left to get all the extra bundles and hopefully unlock some of the extras. So check it out. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, hit my icon at the end of the video to keep up to date with the wonders of Warhammer 40k. Beam me up!